Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again with another bit of a CC chat, and I am joined here today by either the number 1 or the number 2 hero bot, as they would like to call us, as we are some of the biggest DNA fans, I think, on the platform at the moment. But yeah, I'm joined here by Braxophone, and just kind of a bit of an impromptu conversation that we wanted to have just regarding the state of Duet Night Abyss, because it's no lie at all to say that the game has been, at least in my opinion, one of the most heavily doom posted and just like one of the games with the most adversity I've seen. And it reminds me a lot about titles, you know, like Woo-Wah 1.0. We all remember what that was back on launch. And so yeah, just I'm not sure if we have much of an agenda, just kind of like going through some of the topics as they pop up, things like Endgame, all of that. But yeah, I would say we're both pretty deep into the game. I'm trial level like 50, 51 right now. I think you're a bit further ahead as well.
I'm only 52, so I'm like barely ahead, but yeah.
Yeah. So you can probably tell we're like at least 10 plus, 20 plus, maybe even 30 plus hours into the game. We've been grinding it like crazy, both on and off stream. So I think we do have a lot of thoughts that we want to share. But yeah, any ideas for where we want to start?
I mean, honestly, we can just get to, we can just start by talking about like, do we feel like the quality of the game is like where it should be for a launch? Because I think that is the biggest thing that people are always like arguing about is like, oh, this game feels terrible or this game feels fine or whatever it is.
I would say when it comes to the overall quality of the game, from what I've seen, to me, it feels like there is a decent level of polish and everything going on. I think there are still like a couple of complaints that people have when it comes to things like the movement, when it comes to things like the gunplay and all of those things. But for me, it hasn't really been anything like noteworthy where it's like, oh, this feels like awful. This feels like terrible. This is like the worst thing ever. It's
right.
Just been okay. There's like a couple of situations where I feel like, okay, maybe my bullet jump should have gone a bit further or something like that, but nothing that's like game breaking to the point of being not that good.
Yeah, you know, so the craziest thing was like this game came out. I had the beta version because they wanted a video. And so I played it a lot because I was really excited for this game and like seeing what it's all about. And the first thing that I noticed when I got on it, like the beta version, I was like, this already looks much better than beta 2. Like people are talking about this game not looking good and like how it didn't improve at all. It looks drastically different in terms of the like the lighting, the engine, how like not polygonal the characters look now. Like it looks much better. And even though it doesn't look like photorealistic Woo-Wah fucking RTX 5090 ray tracing on,
yes,
right, like I still think stylistically the game looks great.
I think that's one of the big things that a lot of people have been pushing forward, right, is the idea that, oh, the graphics in this game aren't at the same level as Wuthering Waves, right? I'm not going to be the person that goes out there and just straight up lies about like that on the fidelity side, but an honest realization is that every game doesn't need to look like Wuthering Waves to be a good game. And there are clearly some limitations in Wuthering Waves based off of how good the models are and the like just performance-wise. There's a lot of enemies in this game. Right? There's a lot of density that there could be upwards of about 100 plus mobs on the screen, all like walking towards you and stuff. And when you take the graphical fidelity of Wuthering Waves, you combine that with like a mobile platform, the need to have the game on mobile, and then all of those limitations as well, it just doesn't work out to have that many things unless you're planning on running this right on like an RTX whatever, on like the craziest like GPU and the craziest CPU combo ever. And it's just not really feasible when you consider the fact that mobile is a limitation that these games are going to have moving forward.
That, and you combine that fact with like, people are like, oh, well, Woo-Wah's on mobile, but Woo-Wah has been cooking for far longer than this game has. Right? Like
on the mobile optimization side as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially like if you look at the launch on mobile was like really bad for Woo-Wah too.
I think that's just a thing with like these Unreal games, right? The optimization can be a little bit dodgy, especially when you consider the wide range that mobile devices can have. I think one of the big things is that, and I think this is a bit of a hiccup from their launch, DNA's, is that Zenless Zone Zero is a game that has extremely high mobile requirements. Right? Like, if you don't have a good phone, that game is going to run like shit. They also made an additional restriction where if your phone just literally wasn't good enough, you couldn't even install the game. Like, it would, the Play Store would tell you your device is not compatible with this, even if you met most of the system requirements, just because your phone or your hardware was too old. And I don't think that was any limitation at all for Duet Night Abyss or even Wuthering Waves, which is why you're naturally going to have a bit more of like a mobile problem when it comes to that sort of thing.
Yeah, 100%. It's kind of like the illusion of the game being like better optimized, but like they just limited the amount of people that could actually play it. But then all of those people that could play it on their phone are like, oh, this is really well optimized, and then it makes everything else look bad. So
yeah, very, very, very true. So I guess we're on the idea of like doom posting, right? We're on the idea of people like constantly talking about like, you know, naysaying the game, doing all of that. I've noticed that the biggest flood of it was literally within like 10 hours of the game releasing. I was actually sick when the game launched. And so I skipped the first day entirely, even though the first day was only like a couple of hours, right? And when I woke up, the amount of just like doom posting that I saw for the game was insane. And I think my favorite one was people saying that the story was bad when you literally could not have even experienced the entire story within the time frame of people saying it was bad. And I think in reflection now, people have got to see the first 3 chapters. It's actually pretty fucking good. It's actually one of the best launch stories that like a gacha game-esque game, which is what I'm going to call Duet Night Abyss, anime style game, whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah.
It's one of the best launch stories we've had. Without a doubt.
100%.
Yeah.
Like it's not even like questionable. Like the way they portray like loss in this is so good. And the fact that they're willing to actually have deaths. They don't need to kill someone every single mission for me to be like, okay, I get it. Like it's sad.
Yeah.
But the way they did it was so fucking well done. It made you really care about all the characters. And like now we have dead playable characters. Like that's dope, man.
Yeah. And I think they said something about like them coming back in like some degree, but they're not waiting. They're not doing it in this version, right? Like they're like it's something that's going to happen way later on. And so I feel like definitely the stakes are there. And then the deaths aren't really done in like a cheap manner. They really help like drive the whole like overarching plot. That's something that I said early on about Duet Night Abyss was the fact that like just the world itself and the dynamics between like the various factions and the dynamics right between like, you know, the demons and then the humans. It's something that is like naturally quite intriguing. And it just hits you right off of the bat with it, just like within like the first couple of hours of the story. And then you only get to see it blossom further from there.
Yeah, it genuinely was done so well. I understand people's gripes with like the very first chapter because yeah, it was a little slow, but I also feel like they're introducing the entire world.
Absolutely.
I don't know a lot of games whose first chapter is like one of the best.
Yeah, you know? It just hits the ground running. No, it's like pretty much every single one takes that initial time frame to set things up, set up the factions, set up like why you're even like doing these things or why there are even problems. And it's not even that long, bro. Like it's like 30 minutes of setup, maybe like 45 minutes of setup, and then it pretty much hits the ground running, and then you get, I mean, I'm gonna be real, like Henrik is one of the OGs, right? Like I don't want to spoil too much about that, but the fact that they managed to make this NPC-like character feels so significant, and you like actually like feel bad for everything that went on, and then you actually find out, you know, some of the twists and turns with him. I'm gonna be real, like it's a really good use of like the first couple of hours of the story, and then you get into chapter 2, and then that it just even gets better from there when you got like you know, Fenrico's VA absolutely popping off.
Oh yeah. that was awesome to hear. I also just in general, like the second half of the story or like the second chapter of the story felt like I was playing like Final Fantasy. Like not FF14, but just a Final Fantasy game. The music was incredible. The gameplay was engaging like the entire way through, and stakes were high, and I was like, damn, this just fucks. Like this is just really good. The music too, like specifically the music of this game gives me so much fucking hope, because like that means that they care about making it feel like high quality, making it feel like a very emotional experience, right? They're trying to draw on that with the music.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things about this game is the work that's been put into the OST. I think it low-key has like some of the best music that like this type of genre has had, and 100%. I feel like there's still more tracks to follow. Even like the in-game like battle music, like as you're going out and grinding, right? It's like not really intrusive. It, you know, like when you're grinding stages like this so much, oftentimes music can be the thing that like becomes the most competitive or the most like repetitive. I haven't really found it to be a bother at all, and I'm just listening to the baseline soundtrack, not even like external stuff.
Oh, I stopped listening to it just because I think my chat got bored of it. But I
Fair.
do think like, yeah, it's not bad. Like it really is not super intrusive. It kind of like stays where it needs to be, to the point where it's not like, oh God, I have to listen to this shit again. Unlike Snow, who you have to listen to every single fucking mission.
They need to get you like an alternative voice pack like immediately. Like I kind of just want like I want Jarvis or like Ordis or something like that. I would just like some posh British dude with like a very like chill voice in the background versus like, you know, I don't think Snow's voice is bad, but it just gets that is easily the most repetitive part for sure. Especially when you're repeating stuff like hedge over and over again and just like, okay, great. I know the serum's going down. Shut the fuck up.
I started playing on JP, and Snow's voice is a little bit more bearable because I think it reminds me of Rimuru from the Slime Isekai.
I see, yeah.
It might not be the same actor, but that's the voice it reminds me of. And I'm like, okay, this is a lot more comfortable than like whatever the fuck this like Paimon at home shit's going on. Although I will say the voice is much better and much more tolerable than Paimon.
Oh, absolutely. It's just anything that's that high pitched, I feel like it is just gonna wear on you after a while. Yeah, I think it's just gonna happen regardless. Maybe that's the meta. You just download all the voice packs, and then like after 10 runs, you switch them. Just to add some spice.
Yeah, so it doesn't like tilt you while you're trying to just have a chill grind session.
Yeah, absolutely.
On the topic of, so a lot of people are doom posting, obviously like the graphics, the intro, the story, but like another thing I see doom posted a lot is the movement of the game.
Yes.
You played Warframe, right?
Yeah.
So like, you know, like it's not as good as Warframe, but I also feel like it's not really like that bad either. Like I would like if the jump carried momentum after you dash. I think that's my biggest issue is like if you do a bullet jump and then you jump again in the air, it like stops all of your momentum. And I feel like that's the thing that tilts me the most. But like even then, it's still not bad movement. And they have other tools as well. Like you have like the fucking pig. So you can just go like Need for Speed, fucking overdrive, you know, like teleport to the other side of the map. Like you can do that shit too. So I really don't feel like it's as bad as people are making it out to be.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to like open up my game so I could actually like show an example of what I'm talking about for how to make the movement feel pretty much 100%. I have a quick question, Brax. Have you done your weekly bounty commissions yet?
Not yet, no.
Okay, so basically, one of the buffs that you get in like this bounty mode that I'm showing on the screen right now is essentially you end up getting like a movement speed buff where you carry forward a shit ton of momentum after your helix jumps and then like the jump that follows afterwards, and it feels great. It feels like pretty solid. And I noticed that with this buff, the movement feels kind of like exactly where it needs to be. And that's how small of a difference it takes. It's just like a slight increase to how far the helix jump goes, and then a good carry forward on like the double jump that you do after that helix jump. And then I just run like one of the mods that gives you 3 dodges in the air, or like just 3 dodges in a row. And combining all those things together, I'm just like, wow, the movement actually feels really, really, really good now. And really, I think it's just all about taking that movement that you get during the bounty commissions and then maybe just applying it to the overall game, and then just making the buff even bigger when you do go into those bounty commissions. But yeah, I'll let you experience it firsthand yourself to see how the movement shifts once you do activate that buff, and you'll probably be like, okay, this actually feels a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, if it really is that good, it could be dope if they just like straight up change the movement to something similar to that. But yeah, I'll try it today. I haven't actually.
Oh yeah, better make sure you do them, because you got 3 runs. You get 2 blueprints for gold wedges as well. So yeah, that'll be a good one for you to grind out. Just make sure you do it solo, because you will get griefed by people that have no idea what they're doing in co-op.
Gulp. Yeah. Or I'll get banned.
If I typed what I thought about my teammates in chat, I would get banned too.
Yeah, the movement, I feel like that's doomed. Doom posted.
Yeah.
I feel like the gameplay people were doom posting too. I was like, okay, like you just don't fucking like this kind of game, because it is what it is. It's like exactly, it's Warframe. Right? If you don't like Warframe, if you're a gacha player, you don't like grinding for your shit, you don't like killing hundreds, thousands of things on a mission and becoming like super overpowered, that you just don't like the kind of game. That doesn't mean the gameplay is fucking bad though. People are saying like, oh, well, Wuwa's combat is better. Yeah, no shit. You kill like 1 fucking guy. Like,
I think
it's just this whole thing.
I think a lot of people have a bit of a, there's been a type of like, there's been a playing style that's been developed. I think that Wuwa carried forward quite well from like the kind of like Hoyo genre of action RPG game, where there's only a limited amount of progression that you can make every single day, right? And the kind of like gameplay loop ends up becoming, okay, I can literally quite possibly only play for like 30 actual minutes, like farming. Then I run out of resin. Then I run out of wave plates. Then I run out of fuel. Then I run out of whatever, right? And it's in a game where you literally don't run out of that stuff. You begin seeing, okay, I need to grind a lot. I need to repeat these stages a bunch of times. But the thing is that people in Duet Night Abyss are also making an extremely ridiculous amount of progression in the time that's being had. Imagine full clearing Wuwa's Endgame from launch within 5 days. Fucking ridiculous, right? People are barely unlocking gold echoes by the end of day 5. They're not even close to clearing Hazard Tower. But essentially, people in Duet Night Abyss are doing the equivalent of clearing Hazard Tower before a week has even gone up, because you can grind infinitely. And I think it's a really funny thing to think about, because one of the biggest suggestions that people always have for, oh yes, this is how I would make Genshin Impact and Wuthering Waves better. I remember all of these suggestions. You should be able to grind everything infinitely. And then now that there's a game where you can do that, people are like, I don't want, it takes too much time to do that. So it's kind of just like, a part of it is genuinely people not knowing what they want. A lot of people actually like wave plates, constrained resources, and all of that a lot better, because they feel like they can optimize their gameplay. They got everything that they could have gotten out of the game within like an hour, right? And I think a lot of people don't recognize how satisfying that feeling actually is, to be like done and know that you can't really like progress anymore, and then you just wait for the next day. That's a comfortable thing, actually.
You finished everything.
Yeah, you finished
That's
everything. But in this game, the grind never stops. You can always keep progressing. And this is also kind of like the part that I feel like a lot of people aren't going to recognize with this game until they get there, is that, well, once you're done with the end game, in all honesty, there's no real need to like grind for anything else. It's really just all about building your other characters just as well as you built this one team that can clear the end game, and then just kind of like spreading the grind out that way. And that's the, like, while people still have this kind of like carrot in front of them of like, completing all the content in the game, it's going to seem like the grind is crazy. But once you've completed the end game, then you can really kind of like take your foot off the gas pedal, and there's not going to be as much of like this pressure that people might be feeling right now. I think a lot of people are just getting overwhelmed with how much stuff there is to do, and knowing that you can do it infinitely. But it's going to get to a point where, well, that pressure is going to lessen up really fast.
Yeah, you're not going to have to do like maxed out gold wedges, right? Like, that's going to take fucking forever to do.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh my God, there's so much you have to do. Like, no, people are clearing endgame with purple right now.
Yeah, you don't.
You only need one
You'll
copy.
just clear it faster, right? Like, we're at the point where purple wedges, all of that, that's going to get you to the, what, like, I just call it the Wu-Wai equivalent, right? Clearing a TOA floor with 1 second remaining, 5 seconds remaining, right? It takes a low amount of investment to do that. But then people still keep grinding their characters so that they can clear the TOA in under a minute, or like 1 minute and 15 seconds. And that's kind of like what the gold wedges are going to be in this game. You know, the ones that you get from this mission, or the ones that you're buying like copies of from the store, like for the secret letters for them. You don't actually need these to clear the end game, but they will make you clear the end game a lot faster once you actually get them. But I do feel like a lot of people are kind of like, in a sense, like overwhelming themselves immediately just because there's so much stuff to do. And I feel like that's where, like, when we go ahead and start uploading content like progression guides, all of that, like more in-depth ones, now that we've gotten, the experience under our belts, like, I feel like that's where people are going to get a much firmer understanding. But it's hard to do that right now while we're all in the middle of the grind.
Oh, 100%, yeah. But I love that. It's like my favorite part of the game is like discovering shit. Speaking of discovering shit, not to derail us, we'll come back to this in a second, but I think they like hot fixed Berenica, because I'm sitting here like I'm just gonna show you what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So usually when she slashes, she just goes straight, and then you can change direction after. Right? You can turn with her now. You can like change directions mid slash. This was not a thing yesterday. I've been playing this character.
You want to share your screen and show it?
Yeah, wait, yeah. Hold on. Let me go ahead and pull this out then. All right, you see this?
Yeah, I can see it.
So before it was like this, and then you would have to like turn to like change direction.
Yeah.
Now you can literally turn mid attack. You can
Wait,
also
you
literally
definitely.
just 180.
I definitely don't think you were able to do that before, because you can effectively stay in the same spot, right?
Yeah, this is actually crazy. You can just fucking spin now. This was not a thing yesterday. That is so crazy.
Hey, maybe try like the 7,000 DPI like New Valette playstyle, and then just don't go anywhere. Right?
Just do
like,
this?
yeah, just go like that, and like you will stay in the same spot, right? And just hit the enemy with all the slashes.
Yeah, okay, so you have to hold a direction while you're doing it. So like if you're holding W and you do it, then yeah, it'll move you in that direction, or you can change directions with like S or like WASD or whatever.
Oh, that's kind of if they did hotfix it for that, that's crazy. But yeah, I'm not super sure if that was already in the game and you just weren't experimenting with it until now.
Dude, I swear this is new. I swear I've been playing this character since launch. It has to be new. I don't know. Maybe I'm retarded. But like, let me stop streaming real quick. Let me get back to it. But yeah, that is that was crazy to figure out just a second ago.
Yeah.
Either way, I think yeah, a lot of the gameplay loop, people are just worried about like having too much, that they feel like it, like, oh no, I have to do this, it's too grindy, blah blah blah. And it's really not like, yeah, it's pretty grindy, but like you also can take it at your own pace. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah, if you miss a week of theater, that sucks, right?
It
But like, it's
does.
also not going to kill you.
It does, but this is the thing when it comes to theater. I was looking at the design of theater. I think you just got straight up like 20 more days. Like 20 more days? 21 more days, actually. Potentially 22, to actually be able to like get all the rewards and get all the psyche pieces. And it's like,
Oh, it's not refreshing?
it doesn't refresh until like another 20 days from now.
Right, and that's when Fina comes out.
Yeah, that's when Fina comes out. So you got 20 whole days. People have already done it completely free to play in 5 days. And so it's like,
That is so nuts.
yeah, so it's kind of just like, okay, well, you're not going at breakneck pace, right? Like some of the people that are trying to clearly like metagame and just like, you know, get as much progress as possible in as little time as possible. You could kind of just like take it a bit more slowly, get more of your trial rank from dailies, which I think a lot of people don't actually understand is like a thing. Like trial rank, you can get it from spamming characters and stuff, but you can literally also just get it from like these, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get...
1 second. Someone's at my door real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah. So, just to, like, explain it a little bit more for chat, you get 400, I think 550 trial EXP a day just from doing your dailies. That's the same as, like, acquiring a new weapon. A new weapon gives you, like, 40 or 400. And then you level it up a little bit, right, to, like, 20, 30, 40, and then you get to 550. But that's basically how much it is. It's 550. That's kind of a fucking lot. That's kind of a lot, and apparently it goes up to 660 at trial level 55. Just think about it from that perspective.
I'm getting some new shades installed to keep the sun out because I'm a creature of the dark.
Oh,
So
I see.
Someone's inspecting some stuff to just like make sure that all the pieces are the right thing. But
Oh, gotcha.
yeah, sorry about that.
All right, no worries. But yeah, we were just talking about how you get trial rank EXP from dailies. And right now at level 50 something, it's 550, and apparently it goes up to 600 a day when you get to like level 55 or something like that. So that's like another method for people that are just like, okay, I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered to, you know, grind out a character or two a day, or like grind out the weapon or two a day. You are getting a pretty decent chunk just from doing the dailies, which take like 5 minutes to do.
Yeah, you really could treat this like a gacha game. Log in every now and then, every day, if you want to do your dailies and then be done. And then you'll be able to progress the entire game much faster later on.
Yeah, I don't think you'll have any issues full clearing the end game, treating it like a gacha, and then, you know, 1 day a week, just kind of buckling in for like a focused up 5, 6, 7 hour play session. I think that's the way that a lot of people say they want to engage with gacha games, right? You know, play them very minimally on like, you know, for 6 days out of the week, and then on days 6 and 7, right? Just going ham because that's like one of the days where they have free time. This game is very conducive to that sort of play style. And you'll begin to quickly realize that if you optimize how you're getting secret letters done, waiting until like a capture or an escort or like a dismantle to really farm them, I'm not gonna lie, I farmed it. Like I had the capture mission set up. I was farming Sybil. Took me like 10 minutes to get her. Like legitimately took me like 10 minutes. Took me 10 minutes to get her. And now I'm starting to run out of secret letters, but it's like that's how fast it can go. Soon I'm going to run out of secret letters completely and I can decide, okay, do I want to start farming stages for secret letters? Or am I just going to take it a little bit more chill because I'm already 55, I've already done the end game, and now I can, you know, put the game on a bit more of like a back burner after like this initial rush.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the experience, right? Like I haven't farmed for secret letter clues at all.
And you just get them sometimes. Like randomly stages will drop you like 10 plus. And I'm just like, part of me was saying like, this is kind of a lot. Like it's like, like it's a lot to get randomly, just like 15 secret letters for doing a 3-minute defense mission. It's surprising, but hey, like that's, I guess that's the system that they want to go with.
Yeah. There really is just so much misinformation around all this stuff right now, and including like the gameplay thing. Like I think around the start of Duet Night Abyss's launch, some clips of Fob talking were like circulating, and people were kind of like weaponizing what he was saying, even though I don't think Fob actually said anything wrong. I think Fob was just saying like he didn't really think the game had much depth to it, or like much like the gameplay wasn't that good. But then people were taking that clip out of context and running with it to try and doom the game, saying that like, yeah, Fob said it best. This gameplay sucks, you know. and Fob's just like, yeah, I don't know, guy. It's like, not for me.
I think Fob's statements have, in all honesty, I found them to be a little bit goofy. I remember I saw like Marco Meatball's post, right? Because I think Marco's been somebody that's been a fan of Duet Night Abyss. I think that is 100% certain. Marco's been somebody that's been a fan. And one of the videos that he put out recently, right, was like that one video where he was like, oh, criticism can be both good and bad. And the criticism that we're seeing for Duet Night Abyss is essentially dog shit. It's some of the worst fucking criticism ever. That was essentially
it's not criticism.
Video.
It's just like, this game sucks. Why are you playing it? Stop playing it.
And this is the thing, right? It's like you're not giving like reasons for why it sucks or reasons for why the gameplay's bad. And then I remember Fob responding to that post, and then he was like kind of defending his take, right? He was talking about how he said how he sent feedback during the beta about how he didn't like the movement that much, and then it launched in the same way. And it's kind of just like, well, even in that post, it's like, bro didn't really even like indicate why the movement was bad. It's like stuff like that, right? And that's where it can be shown off as a bit more as doomposting. Wait, let me go see if I can just like find it. Yeah, I'll make sure that I can. I'll go look up that post that I'm talking about. Give me a second here. And I'll link it to you as well.
Yeah, I'll pull it up. I think the other thing with that too is while we're kind of on that topic, I think that like people also got to realize, like, I don't think that they did listen to much feedback from players on the movement system, because I think that was a pretty universal thing. People were like, yeah, this doesn't feel as good as Warframe. They want it to feel better. But I also think it's like, you know, I don't know if Fob expected them to listen to everything that he specifically said, but there's like more players than Fob, right? Like there's probably a lot of people that were like, oh, I like the movement, you know, to counterbalance that. So what's the game studio gonna do if, you know, they have conflicting information on both sides?
Yeah. And then this is yeah, and the post that I sent you, right, is like one of the prime examples of it. Like Fob says, my criticism with DNA is that after CBT1, the devs directly asked me for feedback, and I gave a bunch of critique on movement or combat, and like none of them have been improved on. But it's like, well, what was the critique?
Yeah, we don't know.
What was the critique? It's not good, make it better. Or was it like actually detailed critique on like how to fix things? And look, that's the thing, right? I still don't know. And all I see over here is it was not good. I asked them to fix it and they didn't fix what I said was not good. But like, what did you say was not good? And that's where I think even like, this is almost like a whoosh moment, right? Because Marco's video is about how critique that isn't that great can make a game, you know, kill video games. And then even in the follow-up, it's like, come on, man, at least we could have like at least we could have been a little bit more specific, right, with with what we're saying over here. But
and in all the clips, he doesn't specifically say what's bad about it either. I was actually looking into this because people kept referencing his clips as to what's wrong about the game. But like the only clip is the fucking got, you know, that
he's just like, well, no, gotcha, got, and it's like,
at
this point, I think a part of it is that sometimes I feel like Fob doesn't realize how big his CCV and reach actually is. And to a degree, I do feel like there needs to be at least a little bit more clarification and a little bit more substance when he's saying these things, because the fact that his clips oftentimes get used out of context so often, right, to like doom post and or, you know, reinforce the doom posting of a game. I mean, like, you know, for memory's sake, right? All I gotta do is I gotta bring up the whole Jinsei equals Chang Li argument, right? And I'm sure he had, like, something meaningful to say behind that statement. But it's also, like, stuff like that does end up getting said kind of often on his streams. And then he needs to, like, spend the time to, like, re-explain what he meant by that. And I understand what he meant by the whole, like, Jinsei Chang Li thing. But, like, it's kind of, like, similar, like, to the whole DNA thing that's going on, right? It suddenly
100%.
became, right? This game, like, is actually dog shit, and, like, people were using the whole there's no gotcha thing to, like, alleviate the problem of it being bad. But then you ask them what makes it bad, and nobody has a response.
Yeah. Like,
nobody has an answer.
The only one that I've heard is there's no impact on hit, is what I've heard specifically. It's clunky and no impact on hit. And I'm like, I just don't feel that. Like, the impact thing, maybe. Right?
Yeah.
Because we came from Wuthering Waves,
which has some of the best
sound design is
yeah,
insane.
like ZZZ and Wuthering Waves have incredible sound design for the impact and like the parries and all of that. But unfortunately, it's like I can understand why DNA doesn't have it, because you have 100 fucking enemies on the screen and all of them having a unique hit impact sound would like it would sound like your graphics card crashed. You know, the right where it's like like they would sound like that. That's what the game would sound like if there was, like, meaningful hit impact on the hundreds of enemies that you're damaging at once.
The voices, my fucking ears, like, it would just be so loud.
Yeah.
It's so much feedback.
And this is the thing, right? That wouldn't be something hard to add to the game, but it was probably like, yeah, after we heard about 70 hit impact noises all at the same time, and one of the intern's audio drivers blew out, maybe we decided that wasn't the best thing to do.
Yeah, it's probably exactly the fucking conversation that happened, to be honest.
Yeah, and this is the thing, right? It's like, you can already see where hit impact noises get bad in Wuthering Waves. If you play Whimpering Waves, for example, right, and then you play Brant, and you drop an anchor at the right time, you will hear the impact sound on, like, 10 different enemies, and it can blow out your eardrums.
It's
like, you just hear, like
fucking bass boosted, like...
Yeah, you just like... like that. It's a little bit much. And so just imagine that in the context of quadruple that number of enemies. I've already seen it firsthand. And this is the thing, right?
Yeah.
It's so easy to take all of these critiques and then immediately dismantle them, right? Because you just use like some simple logic and reasoning when it comes to like game design and all of that, and you'll begin to realize there's a reason for why these developers did these things in like a certain way. And unfortunately, I'm not gonna lie, the discourse regarding DNA feels like it's been fueled by some of the stupidest people I've ever seen. Straight up, like, these guys are so dumb, it's crazy. It's almost mind-blowing how stupid like some of the chatters I've seen are.
I really don't know where it comes from. It's like agenda posting. You
Exactly.
know? Like there's a joke about like, oh, we must maintain the agenda, right? But like there's people that genuinely just want to tear down the game, and I don't know why.
The number of people that I heard saying the game is dog shit, the entire story is bad because the lip sync is kind of off. I remember that, and I was just like, oh, you have autism or something. Like, there's no way that you're brushing aside the entire story and all of that because, like, the character's mouth didn't move in, like, the exact way that you wanted it to. And, like, especially not after Wuwa 2.7 and, like, the fucking pre-rendered Chinese cutscenes with the English voiceover layered on top. Like, there's no way that we're making this big of a deal out of this. That's the thing. And it's just, like, when you know that that's the type of critique that's being put forward, it's just like, what the fuck even is this, man?
Yeah, I have a hard time believing any of it's actually even real, right? Like, I've started to wonder, like, do we have, like is Hoyoverse buying bots, bro? Like, what's going on?
That's kind of what it feels like. These people, I wonder how long they've played the game. And I also wonder, regardless of how good the game was, they were just going to say it's bad anyways, weren't they?
Yeah, I think it genuinely could have been the best game to have released in the past few years, and people still would have called it bad.
Exactly. And this is the thing, right? I think it's the same exact thing that happened to WuWa 1.0. Because holy moly, you already know with WuWa 1.0, there were thousands of people, if not hundreds of thousands, that downloaded it just to say it was bad. Not to actually play it, but just to say that they did play it and that it was bad. And I think it was the same thing for DNA. All right,
100%.
So while we're on the topic of, like, you know, talking about the Doom posters and how they're actually stupid and shit like that, why don't we talk about what we think are the actual problems in the game as people with, you know, 30 plus hours of playtime? Because I've got my list ready to go.
All right. Yeah, dude, I mean, I've got a few things. I think specifically, one of the things that bothers me the most is that some of the more like necessary resources to farm for are locked to some of the worst fucking game modes on the worst maps possible.
Like excavation.
Yeah, fucking excavation.
And
there's
defense.
What is it? Hedge. I'm trying to remember. There's one where it's farming the melee weapon handles to ascend melee weapons. It's like the longest fucking run of all time. You have to like run for fucking 2 minutes, get to the objective, and then run 2 minutes to leave. And if you use fucking Filbert and you like dash through it, then your supports just sit there and don't even fucking attack the thing. So like you have to sit there like you can't melee it with the pig because you're on the ground. It's just so fucking annoying.
Finale flare.
It might be. I don't remember.
Yeah,
exactly.
that's the one where you gotta like do the puzzle and then blow up the thing in the middle and then like run over.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's so fucking annoying, bro.
Yeah. No, some of the tile sets are awful, right? So I would say coins excavation is probably one of the worst ones. Hedge is okay because it goes by pretty fast. I think exploration is all right too. Termination is always like classic too. Finale, the one that you talked about. Depending on the tile set, I think it's okay or it's an absolute disease. I think when you're in like the underground sewer tile set for mediation, it's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah,
and
that's the one.
And defense in the underground tile set is fucking bad. Holy shit, defense in the underground tile set is the mobs are just awful. And I would just say overall, one of the main complaints that I do have is just the existence of the Luno mementos. I low-key think these could just be deleted from the game. Like, and every existing one just gets converted into money. I don't know what this does other than just put, like, an absolute, like a halt on everything you want to do in the game, right? Because you need them to craft basically everything involved with a weapon. Like, you need them for, like, the golden sands that you need to, like, craft all the other materials. And it's just, like, you already need other shit. Right, you already need, like, these flowers and, like, this paint bucket and all this other garbage. It's like, this just feels like it exists to make everything else in the game slower. And the thing is, you can actually grind a decent number of these by just focusing up on the mission, but it just ends up becoming a chore. Like, these feel like the biggest chore in the game. And to me, I honestly feel like with money being a stage that you have to do to fuel everything else, that's kind of already enough.
Right, yeah, it's like a secondary currency, which I guess makes sense because it's coins, right? But like, when you go to craft things, you use them in literally fucking everything. It's not just like the gold sand, it's also like there's like that like gem rock thing you have to make too. That also uses them. And then your character talent, like skill levels, they use them, and other shit use them too. I think the only thing that I keep seeing, and someone in chat saying this as well, is at 55, apparently you also get some other materials at the same time as you farm them at like the level 55 mission, so it makes it more efficient. Before 55, bro, that shit is ass.
Oh yeah, but it's like you need it. You need like 250 of these stupid ass coins, I think, to build a weapon.
Yeah.
And then like I don't know. It feels like it's super necessary to like allocate your gold upgrade or like not your gold upgrade mass, but like your commissions multipliers. It feels like you like need to allocate them specifically towards like the defense or the excavation missions, or you're just really not having a good time.
Yeah.
Because
if you don't, then you're like doing missions that take 3 to 5 times longer every single time.
Yep. And these are the most annoying missions to do in the game. They take the longest, and it's just I personally feel like just this entire resource could be removed, and you don't like lose anything in the game. All you lose is like this annoying ass shit that prevents you from doing everything else in the game. That's what these Luna coins feel like.
I think my solution to this, because I don't foresee them ever removing that shit, right? But like I think that what could work is if they just made it so that the collecting materials like ascension mats and character XP and stuff is on rotating missions, the same as the commissions that you do for like secret letters.
Yeah.
Just make it so it rotates, right? Because like then it's like, oh, we have dismantle for coins. Like I'm gonna spam the shit out of that right now, you know? And then it's not as bad, even though you still need fucking 300 of them to make a weapon. At least the mission only takes you 20 seconds.
That would actually make a ton of sense. Yeah, that could be a good way to go about it. And then you could like reward players who are playing a lot by, okay, you'll have like this time limited opportunity of like an hour to not go through hell farming these fucking things. Yeah, that's actually a good one, right? Because without a doubt, right, if you're somebody that's like just, imagine you're doing your covert commissions and like all you have is like, good God, imagine all you had available for your character secret letters was excavation. Brother, I'm gonna be real, it's gonna take you like 3 hours to get a character. While if you're doing capture, it's gonna take you 10 minutes, right? And that's just like the amount of difference that the mission type can actually make. So yeah, I'm just looking over here and excavation is live right now. I'm not gonna be fucking grinding characters right now. That's not happening.
I thought people send pings in the chat whenever it's like fucking dismantle. They're like, all right, go, like do it now.
I like that. I like that there's like that level of engagement, that level of interactivity, and I think having more of it wouldn't necessarily be the worst thing ever.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I also just like the fact that this game is was co-opable until like it bugged over the weekend and they haven't fixed it yet.
Yeah.
But the game being co-opable was like a super good idea, right? Because if you're going to sit here and do this shit, you might as well like chill with your friends and just talk and call for 10 hours, especially if you're going to be doing, God forbid, fucking excavation for that long.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you need to do excavation in co-op. If you're doing that shit solo, you will crash out.
It's like 7 minutes per mission solo, bro. That shit is so bad.
Yeah. Okay, so we've talked about some of the resource stuffs. Now I kind of want to get into, I think, perhaps the most important topic when it comes to, like, what I think could be improved a bit, and I think that's the end game.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I think the design of the end game is it's a little questionable.
Okay.
Primarily,
tell me more about it, because I actually don't hate it that much, but I'm curious to hear what you had to say.
Yeah, so I think my biggest issue is the fact that there's such a harsh elemental restriction to where if you use the preferred elements, right, you deal 400% additional damage. And if you don't use the preferred element, you go from dealing 400% additional damage to dealing only 50% of your actual damage, right?
It's a huge fucking nerf.
It's a huge nerf. And the thing is that I don't think that the elemental restriction itself is that big of an issue because you can go ahead and just farm characters. Like, literally in 10 minutes, right? With the right secret letters, you could just farm Lynn, right? Or you could just farm Oliver. Or you could, like, get Hellfire, even though she sucks dick, so don't actually get her. Right? It's like, you can rectify the roster issue immediately. I think it's just more so the fact that there's almost no replayability in the endgame. Because this is the thing, right, that I oftentimes do is, well, I clear it once with one team, and then I go ahead and I try out other teams to see how they'll clear. But the thing is like, when the restrictions are this constrained, only 2 out of the 6 elements are usable, then I think that you run into, like, a bigger problem, right? Where this is going to be live, right, for 21 days from now. Really, it's saying 22 over here.
Yeah.
Let's say I do complete the entirety of the Immortal repertoire. I mean, well, it's not like there's many other DPSs or teams I can use. There's only like 4. There's only 2 Anemo DPSs and there's 2 Pyro ones. And so realistically, I could run like 4 teams and then not really anything else unless I am like griefing and intentionally playing into like a 50% damage increase. And that's where I think just having like, at least in like the third one that pops up, Immortal repertoire, because you're only running 1 team, I don't think it would be that bad to have, like, 3 recommended elements. Just to be able to, like, play more possible teams as you get deeper and deeper into the end game. Because that's part of, like, the fun of these games, right? Is clearing it with 1 team and then taking the rest of your roster that you put so much effort into building and stuff, and then trying it out with them, too.
Yeah, I mean, because you want to try like, oh, I'm gonna build my Berenica to max, and I'm gonna see how she does in Endgame, and then like, oh my god, this shit's OP, right? But like, she can't be OP because she's not on element.
Yeah, like she'll just do 50% less damage. Like same thing with like the Lisbel, same thing with the Sybil, same thing with again every DPS that isn't one of these 2 out of 6 elements. And I think to me, 28 days is a really long time to have with a restriction this big. And my take is either reduce the amount of time that there is between resets, which I think they're going to go for, because again, this is like the only resetting endgame mode. It would, like, after the first reset where people have had the time to like build their characters and progress their accounts, I don't think it would be that bad to have shortened ones, especially because this is the way that they've decided to have the newest character in the game become available. And having shorter resets, right, would allow you to have, I'm not gonna lie, 1 month between each character is kind of a long fucking time. Especially in a game like this where it's actually a lot faster to grind characters than we thought. Yeah, having 1 month between each release is kind of taking a while. So those would be my main suggestions.
Gotcha. Yeah, so the end game content, I think it's been really fun, especially because we're not limited by a gacha aspect of the game.
Yeah.
Right? So like, you know, we can just like build everyone. Like there's not any
and if there's a problem with your build, you can just exit out and then just go farm and deal with the problem. You don't have to wait until the next day to like, you know, get the resources, get the time constrained stuff that you need to keep grinding. You can just if you have a stopgap, you know what to do. You can go deal with it.
Yeah, that shit is so nice, man. And I think that's like one of the reasons why I'm like kind of okay with it. I think that the damage restriction doesn't need to be there. I don't think we need to do less damage if we're not on element. But I'm kind of okay with there being a buff to specific elements just because like I didn't build any of the Animo characters except for Outsider. And then I brought him in, and his fucking NPC sucks.
Yeah.
So then I was like, okay, I need to build Truffle and Filbert. And I left, I built them, I came back, and then I cleared it. So with that, and then like Psyche too, and then bringing Daphne in, and like, you know, I managed to catch up all of the other characters that were on Element. I built Lynn too, and it was able to just like get through all the content. And that's only because we can grind whatever, and there's no limits. Because of that, I feel like it's okay. But I agree with what you're saying about like, it would be nice if they allowed either more characters than just like 2 types to do more damage. I personally would like to see the 50% like damage reduction thing, or is that the exact number? Is it 50?
Yeah, it just says reduced by 50% if you're not using the right element.
Yeah, I would really like to see that just not there, right? Because like I feel like there's some level of brute forcing you'll probably be able to do when you have like maxed out gold wedges if you do that. But like my problem with the end game personally is a little bit more to do with the fact that the end game is just kind of that. Like you have Mystic Maze, but that's like, it's kind of a piss easy mode, especially when you've built everything. We haven't tried level 80 yet, but everything else has been super easy. And so I kind of feel like Mystic Maze is like not that crazy to deal with, not that crazy to do. So the only real end game is like basically the immersive theater. I would really like to see, because this is not a gacha game, I would really like to see co-op bosses. And just co-op bosses with mechanics, not just like a bullet sponge, like guys a billion health and that's it. I'm talking like basically 4-man raids from like Final Fantasy has 4-man in the form of the Quantum raid now.
Yeah.
Or the Quantum dungeon technically. And, you know, that's like really fucking cool because it's a smaller scale thing where you still need to coordinate with people, but you know, you could just take in a couple of your friends and clear it. And because this game isn't gacha, they really can balance that sort of fight.
Oh, yeah.
Because gacha games can't do that. Right? They got to cater to whales or free to plays.
I think they can balance the fights, and I think in this game, like they're perfectly fine to buff and nerf characters, right? I think that's like another thing is that because you can just get everybody, I think it's actually okay for them to buff and nerf units. And
100%.
Hopefully there's not any barriers with that, because I know, well, this is the thing, you can just buy them, but guess what? You can also buy a character in League of Legends, right? You can just buy the character, right? You can buy all their skins, and then that character can get fucking nerfed into dog shit. Nobody in China really complains about that, though, because it keeps the game in balance, right? I feel like for a game like this, where you don't have that gacha element, it's only on the skins, so on and so forth. Co-op endgame, all of that stuff. I mean, they've already got some blueprints that they can, work from like Warframe, right? They got like the Eidolon hunts, in that game. They got like the Kuva liches and like all of that, and like the co-op that you can do, to, get like those rare weapons. I just think that for a 1.0, at least this end game, I'm satisfied with it from a 1.0 perspective. But I would hope that within like the next 2 months, we start seeing like some more complex stuff, some more like co-op oriented, that sort of stuff as time goes on. But yeah, for a 1.0 for me, I get the vision that you're talking about. I just think with like the amount of content that people have to do just from like an overall leveling perspective, I think it's enough for the short term, but definitely should be expanded on in the future.
Oh, 100%. I just feel like, yeah, it would be nice to see more endgame type stuff. And I'm actually fairly confident they'll do that because these guys, the devs seem like pretty, like they just want the game to survive and do well, which is kind of the exact same mentality that like Kuro had said they had about the game. Like they just want the game to be good and fun, and that'll be what keeps people playing it. It's very different from like the average, you know, AAA game experience where they're like, oh, we need to make as much money as possible so the game doesn't die. Yeah, like, oh, the game will stay alive and we'll make infinite money if we just make the game like have all of these problems that people can buy out of. But the thing that makes like a good game is people wanting to play it, you know?
But what I did want to say was, in regards to that, I feel like they need more things to spend money on in the game. I feel like the game needs, like, I think they really horrendously kind of fucked up real bad by only having like 3 featured skin on launch. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like they needed like 10 plus, 20 plus more skins. There should have been like 3 featured banners, 3 things to like use the, you know, to use like the expensive prisms and stuff on. I feel like there should have just been like way more. And I'm hoping that in version 1.1, where they have like the whole like China squad, right? Where they have like Yuming, they have like Keizo, they have like all the other units, right? I'm hoping that they release with a fuck ton of skins and more monetization in that regard. Because right now, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know, like, one of the big things about a game like this, right, is like having stuff that can draw people in early on. With Psyche's skin being the limited one, and then you can't really get her reasonably until you're 20 plus hours into the game, I just think it's like, it just doesn't, I just think it's a bad business decision to make your highlight skin only available to players that have already sunk in 20 hours.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of retarded, frankly. And
yeah, they really griefed themselves there.
I think it's literally just them griefing themselves, because it's like, okay, so for somebody to want to spend on your big ticket item, right, the thing that's supposed to make the most money this patch, this limited Psyche skin, to get Psyche, you have to play for 20 plus hours. And then also be like in tune with like the meta. You gotta be like, you can't be like casual and get Psyche within 20 hours. You gotta be like in there, like playing the game and like really grinding it. And I feel like that's just like, it's an odd way to like make your revenue. And hopefully they just don't do this in the future, because I'm just gonna be honest, I haven't spent a lot of money on this game because there's nothing to fucking spend money on.
Yeah, I was like, I'll buy a shit ton of cosmetics. That's all I can, bro. Like, I've spent less on this game than I spent in like 1.0 of Genshin. Yeah,
like I want to buy like a cool looking Outsider skin. I would love to buy like a cool Fantasio skin, right? I would love to buy like all these different things for like all these different characters, but it's like, okay, like here's your Psyche one, your Rebecca one, and then your Truffle and Filbert one. I'm just like, I'm not really a fan of any of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm just not really a fan of any of them. And so it's just like, what do I do if I want to support the game, but I don't want to outright buy the characters?
Yeah, the only thing you can do is, I think, wait. I really think they, I don't know if this is true, right? This is just speculation, but I am fairly certain that this version of the game, despite us like saying, you know, this version's good, it's being overly doomed, I do think this is not what they wanted the 1.0 to be. I think they were hoping that they could do 1.1 at launch.
Yeah, I think
probably just couldn't.
I think that's pretty clear based off the fact that, well, I mean, you and I both played a couple versions of the beta, right? The 1.1 characters were in the beta. All of them, right? They were all in the beta, entirely playable. You saw their entire movesets and all their passive bonuses and everything. So they are good to go. Like, they're ready to ship. But I would just say, like, content-wise, I don't think the story's, like, actually that long. I'm pretty sure, like, it was meant to have, like, a 1.1 in the release. But a lot of people have also been saying they're saving the Chinese characters for Chinese New Year, which is, well, next year. And so the release of the 1.1 units does kind of coincide with the Chinese New Year. So that could also just be what they had planned as well. Maybe it could have been they rushed 1.0 to make sure that 1.1 comes out in time for the New Year's.
Yeah, that could be a thing. I mean, there's always like the development angle of like, oh, maybe they just had to rush it out because of funding. Maybe they'd rush it out because of like the publishing license, whatever it might be. But like, you know, you also don't do a giant like graphical overhaul to the game and like a giant like content update with an entire new region the first patch after a game, right? Like that just doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. But 1.1 does look fantastic.
It does. I think it'll solve a lot of the problems that people have with the game.
Yeah, I'm hoping so too, especially from like the character design angle, because like I'm not gonna lie, those new designs kind of clear everything that's already in the game. Like just
They do,
absolutely just no diffs it. And it's like I noticed during the beta too, I was like, wait, some of these characters look a lot better than the other ones. Like a lot better than the other ones.
Yeah, it's like not even close, bro. Like they must have hired some like awesome fucking character designers like during the beta, because that shit was insane.
Yeah. All right. I do see that we're getting at about an hour now, but I feel like we hit upon pretty much all the topics that I feel like are top of mind. Is there anything that you think we missed that we should maybe discuss a little bit?
No, I think we hit basically everything that I was thinking about.
Awesome.
Are you good?
Yeah,
like,
no,
you think you hit everything?
No, I'm good. It's just good to get your thoughts on the stuff as somebody who I think has some of the most playtime alongside me for like just streaming the game and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad to hear that a lot of the concerns are relatively uniform and similar, and we've all, you know, we're also having the similar thoughts just in terms of like, you know, the doom posting that's going on.
Yeah.
Well, that's never really gonna end.
Yeah, that is well, I think it has calmed down a little bit at least, but
oh
that's
yeah,
probably
for
just 'cause
sure.
people are mad at like CZN now, so
Yeah. Well, that's it. It turns out that this month might be a little bit more crazy than we thought, just with all the drama surrounding the early launches of these games. So, yeah, honestly, yeah, Duet Night Abyss seems to have calmed down a lot. Again, I feel like a lot of this shit that was going on with the game, it feels entirely manufactured, like literally manufactured. Like it feels so artificial. And I'm glad that it seems like there's a lot of people, just in the community that are echoing the same exact thoughts there.
100%.
All right. Well, hey, yo, thanks for the time, man. Hopefully the grind that you were going on was going well. But yeah, maybe we can co-op. We'll talk again soon, all of that stuff when we get closer to, I guess, fully clearing immersive theater. We still need to do that to get our, to be deemed true DNA shills.
True.
All right.
All right, man.
Well, see you later. Thanks for the time, man. Peace.
See you later.